in the 5 o'clock hour. But let's discuss. I know that ratings and football, and there's a reason you have at least the semifinals. You have 2 games, then you have a championship game to decide a national championship. But preseason polls, even in April, or when they come out with the AP and the coaches poll in August, they're fun because they allow us to debate things. ESPN has a football index poll. All right, Paul, I'm going to ask you. You guys stop me when you think that something's a little fishy. I'm going to start with number 10, Auburn.
Yeah, it's a little fishy to me. I mean, we don't know who their quarterback's going to be. They have different transfers battling it out, plus Finley, who was there. And it's Finley, right? Yeah, I mean, all the guys that were there. So, yeah, I mean, to not know who the quarterback's going to be, and look, they've got good players, but 10 for Auburn, yeah, it's a little fishy to me.
Oklahoma State, 13.
Yeah, I mean, that's about right.
Baylor, 19.
A little low for me.
Michigan, 7.
Yeah, won the Big Ten last year. Pretty much everybody's back. So yeah.
Oklahoma, 8.
I mean, they're Oklahoma. I mean, they have a new everything, so it's probably hard to gauge. Like, to me, I mean, again, I know these are like analytical numbers that they're throwing out there, but none of those people have done anything together yet, so it's hard for me to say they'd be 8th.
Yeah, a lot of this is analytical, and so this is going to spit out maybe a name or two that might be a little bit All right. Pittsburgh lost Kenny Pickett, but they have Keaton Slovis, right?
Yeah.
They're 9.
I mean, look, if they think that Slovis can step in and do what Pickett did, but they also lost Whipple. Whipple went to Nebraska. So, how do both those things work? Because Keaton Slovis isn't necessarily stepping into Mark Whipple's system. He's stepping into the next offensive coordinator system. So I guess we'll see how that works. I mean, all right. I like Pat Narduzzi, but
yeah, I mean, but they also have their whole O-line and their best wide receiver, who's the Blitnikoff Award winner coming in. So, I mean, or who's coming back. So, I mean, I think they're probably basing a lot of it off that. But, yeah, I would be somewhat hesitant because I'm not convinced on any of these USC transfer quarterbacks that we're all crowning once again for the 3rd time in their careers. I mean, we're just, they're going left and right, basically, these USC quarterbacks, and we're all expecting them to be like game changers for everywhere that they're landing. And I'm not exactly expecting that. So I'm a little bit hesitant on them, being 9, but I see why. I can see why, yeah.
Well, and obviously yesterday was a huge day. West Virginia got their transfer with JT Daniels, who's an upgrade, no question about it. But can he perform? And that's the question, but there's a reason for optimism. All right, now go 1 through 6. Alabama.
Okay, yeah.
Ohio State.
Why not?
Georgia.
Defending national champion.
Clemson.
I mean, 9-3 last year, but if they got solid quarterback play and an improved offensive line, they don't have the path of least resistance.
If I would have given you any of those 4 in any order other than what I just gave you, which is what the FPI and ESPN, okay.
You could have done the same 4 over the last 5 years, and nobody would have questioned it.
All right, number 5, Notre Dame.
Yeah, I mean, they're always in the mix. They're always about in that vicinity. They're always borderline playoff. I don't know that Marcus Freeman's just going to keep it going exactly the way that it has been. I think we're all just kind of assuming that, and I understand he's a great young coach and very well respected and all of that, but I'd like to see him in the fire a little bit before thinking he's just going to maintain a top 5, top 10 ranking constantly. But they got a lot of talent. There's a lot of belief in him. So I could see. I mean, I see the reasoning for it. That's what I'm looking at. It's not like, oh my God, that's BS. Or it's like, okay, I can see the reasoning there. Some of them I'm sure we'll get to that I can't exactly see the reasoning, but so far I can see the reasoning for most of these.
All right, so there's one missing among the top 10, and this is the one that always is very polarizing, and they are normally going to be ranked no matter what you're coming off of because their signing class is always good, but they have had a decade of frustration. 6, Texas.
Yeah, this one I don't understand what the analytics are telling them because, again, you don't know who the quarterback's going to be, and whoever it is didn't play. I mean, Hudson Card played enough, but the numbers wouldn't say that, and Quinn Ewers hadn't played at all. This was a 5-7 team last year, so I don't know outside of Bijan Robinson, some really good skill players that they have, of them saying this, plus their offensive line has been very average over the time. So is all that going to get better for them to be 6? I mean, for them to be 6, in a power ranking, you're asking this team to be five wins better. Well, I don't know if that's, and I know we bag on Texas all the time, but I don't know that that's fair to them. Like, what if they were just 3 wins better? That'd be great for Steve Sarkisian.
You know, a lot of times it's we sit there and we go, like if it had been 24th or 23rd, there would have probably been some why. But go ahead.
Okay, who voted on this? Nobody. This is all numbers.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
So, like, I mean, let's not act like it's the top 25, postseason poll or something. So we're mad at computers, basically. But this is going to be similar to probably what we see in the preseason poll. But I just want to make that clear that this is not like the voters.
But the thing that's confusing me on this one particularly is that the computers only know the numbers that you put in them. Who is giving the numbers to Texas
Somebody has
that
to
would make them that high?
Like even, I think even Pittsburgh and Auburn, 9 and 10, you can kind of go, But, all right, now, we don't know, but we've seen this before. One thing we'll say about Texas, and I had somebody on one of the YouTube chats on a previous segment we did say we have a bone to pick with them. It's not that. There's a bone that's created that's easy to pick. And it's not all, and God bless them, it's not always their fault. I mean, yeah, the results are. It's a result.
Well, that's what I said.
But
this one is.
They're not the ones that go, hey, we want to be ranked. I mean, the fans love it, the donors. I'm sure there's fans, donors, and alums are like, damn, God. Well, can we sneak back into this thing?
I mean, I completely agree with you. I would think they see this and like, oh, come on.
Why do you do this to us?
Like, can you just rate us 25th?
Yeah.
Just rate us 25th so that they could have a chip on their shoulder about something for once in their life.
Now, I don't think it's a bone to pick with Texas, and I've defended them here recently on even the Sark Ojimo thing. Yeah. I was saying, like, it's not, it's an overreaction simply because it's Texas, but I think, no matter what that computer spit out, they knew exactly. Like, I saw JJ Joe commenting about it, like, hey, Baylor's got this and this and this. And first of all, I'm like, JJ, it's a computer. But second, you're reacting exactly the way that they want you to.
By talking about it.
When they put that tweet out,
yep.
All they cared about was not whether it was going to be accurate or not. ESPN could care less. Tell me who was in this thing last year. Nobody would know. Nobody would remember that. But it generates conversation. Why? Not because we're talking about James Madison or because we're talking about even Baylor, because we're talking about Texas, and they know that every time they put a graphic out with their name on it where they're ranked relatively high or have some optimism, it's like a new yearly off-season tradition, basically. We do this every year with these rankings. But, yeah, I mean, it's not a bone to pick. It's just getting tired of, basically seeing through all the BS every offseason of, the big run of transfers and commits and the recruiting and the new guy and this is going to be the change, and then ultimately it just fizzles out again, but we have to hear about it all the time. And I think we
also witness it.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying, is like we see it up close and personal, so it's not a bone to pick. It's just commenting realistically on it. They're like, yeah, sometimes it's overblown and overrated, and it gets a little bit tiresome that we do that constantly. But as far as that ranking goes, I'm optimistic about them, but I don't know that I'm ready to go all in. Like, that would put them at what, the top team in the Big 12 or the second best team?
Ahead of Oklahoma.
Okay,
yes.
So the top team in the Big 12, they're the highest ranked. I don't know if I'm ready to go that far.
Well, and again, these are analytics.